In a world clouded by noise,
Truth is waiting in the quiet
it whispers.
until someone dares to listen.
She is the Oracle, Tammy De Mirza, a world-renowned intuitive.
A messenger of what's hidden,
She sees what others cannot.
and speaks the truths you have been seeking. And he is the master, Sifu Rafael, a master instructor, strategist,
A guide who leads with discipline
turning wisdom.
into action. Together,
We awaken what's been buried,
we ignite the hunger for truth,
and we challenge illusions.
guiding you to your next level of power. Two powerful souls unite to awaken what's been buried.
To break what's been bound and to speak what others want. The Oracle,
And the Master,
it's time.
Tammy, good morning.
Good morning. I feel half asleep, but I'm here.
Well, I'll take half. Because any bit of you is a great bit.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here with you always, Sifu. I love you.
I appreciate you. What a great topic. Manifesting isn't magic. What is manifesting? Why should we do it? And when should we do it?
Well, the truth is we are doing it all the time, whether we are conscious of it or not. So I call what I teach my clients conscious alchemy, because we are usually doing unconscious alchemy, and it's how you think. What you think expands, and what you think you get. More often, the universe goes, okay, whatever the dominant energy is, that is what I am ordered to give you. So if we're thinking about limits, if we're thinking about money problems, if we're thinking about a lack of a relationship, we will get more of that, because that is what we are transmitting out into the universe. There's a verse in the Bible that says, pray without ceasing. That's the shortest. No, I think he wept might be the shortest. But pray without ceasing would be better interpreted to, you are praying without ceasing every single moment, and you are placing your order to the universe.
Yeah. Yes. It's some people say you wish for something and it appears. But then other people say, stop wishing and go do. Where do we draw the line of wishing and taking action?
To me, I think we have to get in touch with our heart, not our head. Because what you want actually already wants you. And if you think about that, the desires of your heart, I really want to go to Italy. And you can't get it out of your mind. I have a client that's going through this right now. She wants to go to Italy, and she can't get it out of her mind, and it won't go away. And so what I'm teaching her is get an alignment and embrace that you really do want to go to Italy. And then when you place your order, you are going to Italy. And it's none of your business how any of it gets paid for.
As long as it gets paid
One
for.
day I was wishing, I need a week at the beach, and I don't really have the money to just go schedule it, but I really want, I was thinking about walking on the beach and feeling the warmth on my body and how good that feels and how wonderful it is to be at the beach and feeling the sand in your feet and that it's a transitional space. Within an hour, my sister texted me and said, "Can we talk?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "I have scheduled a week at the beach. And I was told to give you this week. You don't have to pay me for the house."
Mm.
And I went, there you go. When you think a thought and you're only thinking about where you're going instead of what your circumstances are. And believe it or not, Sifu, this is how I climbed Mount Sinai last October. And this is what I am teaching everybody that is climbing Mount Sinai and going on the Egyptian trip with me this year. It's funny, I have on an Egyptian dress today. I haven't worn this in 2 years. And I am teaching them how to bypass the mind and think about getting to the top of Mount Sinai, where they're going, instead of what the body feels like, instead of what the mind is saying, instead of watching other people struggle and not a breath. We make it to the top with ease because we're thinking about where we're going. So when we get in that mindset, that heart mindset of what we truly desire, then we can place our order. And most people I find do not even know what they want, or they're afraid to want it.
Right.
What is your definition of this, and how do you look at it?
I have to agree with you so much because it's the destination that drives. Because if you say, I'm going to Egypt or China or wherever it is you want to go, wherever your heart is telling you need to go, if we focus on the tiny little things that are going to be annoying about the trip, maybe they lost my luggage, the plane was not on time, there was rain, there was this, and the taxi or the Uber or whatever, and we're worrying about the little things that don't affect the overall result. When we can focus on the bigger picture, the destination, how am I going to feel when I'm there? I think that aligns with a better dream than the dream of mishaps. Right? And so many people focus on the mishaps than on the actual adventure, if you will. You had asked me before we even went live, what does manifestation mean? And how or when was it that I actually started manifesting? And the deeper I look at it, the more I realize that I've been doing it my whole life. One instance was I was between the block I lived on and the block, the other block. There wasn't a road, but it was like a dirt alleyway or something. And we used to take that all the time. And it was in the middle of the day, so it wasn't a big deal. And I had to be like maybe 9 years old. And I'm going, and all of a sudden, these kids, I'm by myself, all these big kids confronted me, grabbing by my shirt, wanted my money. And I didn't have much of anything on me. And they were going to beat me up. And I think it was like 5 or 6 of them. And right there, I manifested a savior. And who comes out of nowhere but my older brother?
Oh.
Who comes out and starts, what is going on here? So he goes after those kids. All he had to do was raise his voice. And all the kids turned around. They're like, "Oh, we didn't know he was your brother. Oh, I'm so sorry. We didn't mean to bother him." And it was kind of interesting. There was no scuffle, there was no punches thrown. It was just his presence.
Mhm.
And that really showed me that I wasn't alone. And
Wow.
trust me, there's been so many times in my life where I felt alone. And when I was younger, as you know, I had polio. And if I didn't believe, I would never have been able to get out of those braces. So it's understanding that I could not stay in the braces and that I was not alone because God was always with me, always walking alongside
Mm.
me. For me, it's really strange when we think about manifestation. We think that it has to be now and only we can only manifest about money, but it could be about anything in life. Like when I was in that alley and I manifested, I didn't know who it was, but I knew that I needed somebody there, my savior. And at that point, it was my brother who was 4 years older than me.
Wow.
So I don't know where he came.
So
And I
when you
haven't thought about that in a long, long time. So
yeah,
thank you for bringing that memory back.
well, I think the more that we talk about those spontaneous manifestations where something comes in, the more the universe says, "Oh, look, he or she is talking about receiving. I have to give them more."
Mm,
That is the way it is. That's why I highly recommend to my clients that at the end of the day, they write down 3 things that they're most grateful for, that they noticed about the day or they received. Something good that
mm,
happened, or something that they learned, the silver lining
mm,
of something bad that happened. What was the good thing that occurred because the bad happened? Because there's a balance. We were talking about this before we started, how there's good and bad in everything.
mhm.
And I know that you saw the Michael Jackson movie,
Yes, yes, yes. It was
and
great.
we were talking about that contrast. So in life and manifesting, there is the contrast of the good and bad. We have up and down, we have right and wrong, we have left and right, we have, the laws of gravity, but the law of resonance and the law of attraction is real too. So, whatsoever we are focusing on is what we get. And here's the key. It's funny because I just went on a really cool date this last weekend, and the guy was telling me about manifesting.
Mm,
And he said, I get what I want. And I said, talk to me. Good morning, Katie. Good morning.
mm.
She's actually going to Egypt with me.
Oh, very
Um,
cool.
so we were talking about how he manifested, and he brought up the first time that he remembers manifesting, and it brought me back to mine. My first time manifesting, and this is a cute story. I'm a teenager. I don't really know the Bible. I wasn't raised in church, and so I had this experience at the age of 11. I begged my parents for 2 years to get us into the church that the cool kids were going to, which was the biggest church in Easley, South Carolina, Gear Memorial. And I'm reading because I don't know who David and Goliath is. I don't know these stories of these people. And all of a sudden, one day, I thought, you mean I can have what I want? I was getting that message. Wait a minute. I can ask for something and I can just receive it. And I placed an order for something so simple and innocent, and it had
Mm,
never happened ever in my life, ever. And it didn't happen again because I didn't place that same order. But I remember thinking, okay, well, if I can have what I want and I can ask for it, I want Kentucky Fried Chicken for dinner. I was a teenager.
Good old KFC.
What was so wild is that the first time and only time ever in my entire life, my mother stopped by Kentucky Fried Chicken and brought that home. And I said, and I also want the extra crispy. She brought it home for dinner.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there eating it going, what? I wished then, Sifu, that I would have really taken that to heart and went, wow, I can manifest more. Because when this guy was telling me about this weekend, he was saying, well, once I manifested that, I learned that I can manifest this, and I learned that I can manifest that. And his method is very simple. He just thinks about what he wants. And that's actually the recipe. You think about what you want. You're not looking at the limits. You're not looking at the problems. You're not looking at what you don't have. You're not looking at, well, I don't know if I can have it. I'm afraid that if I say that I want it, I can't have it. Well, guess what? You can't. Katie, who is listening to us, is a really good example of this with the stuff that she has manifested and the man that she's manifested and the trips that she's manifested. My God, what a turnaround. It's amazing.
Absolutely. It's incredible when we can ask. I love the way you say it, order. Like, take my order. And the person comes over and goes, okay, what do you want?
That's actually what it looks like in the spirit realm. They're sitting there writing it down. And then I see them given the sheets of paper, go do this, go do this, go do this. She placed her order and she's in alignment. That is how it works. So I place my order to the universe. And I have a certain method and a way that I do it. The key is whether or not you are in alignment. And whether or not you are focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want. Because the universe is reading the dominant energy. And I don't know if most of the listeners or anybody who is going to be listening to this, do you know where Star Trek came from? I think I've mentioned this before.
I don't know.
Gene Roddenberry had a neighbor who was being abducted by aliens. And he was telling Gene Roddenberry the stories, and that is Star Trek. That is why the entire thing happened, because the guy is telling Gene about his experience with the aliens when they would come and get him at night. Isn't that wild?
That is pretty wild.
Well, one of the things that I noticed as a teenager in watching Star Trek, we're talking about many, many, many years ago when Captain Kirk was very young, was that they telepathically communicated. You never saw the aliens moving their mouths. And I remember thinking, I was taught how to telepathically communicate with my mother at 11 years old, and I use it today. If there's somebody singing in their car and they're texting and their brake lights are on and I want their parking space, I will say, please move for me. Get off your phone and move for me so that I can have your parking space. They immediately start backing out. Or somebody in front of me in a car, or your music is too loud on the beach. I can't take it. It's driving me crazy. I want to hit my head in the sand. Can you please turn it off or turn it to something soothing? It will happen immediately because I'm not in resistance. So the way that the universe hears us is the energy. Same thing with Star Trek and telepathically communicating. It's the energy that the universe is reading. And so when we say something or think something, like I'm like, well, I'm going to test this out. I can have whatever I want. I want Kentucky Fried Chicken. I was shocked that it happened. And when I was in Japan recently, let me tell you a funny thing. I'm in Kyoto and I see a huge KFC model. He's plastic, but I went over and got my picture taken with him. And I found out from our Japanese guide that it is a delicacy to them on Christmas Day.
Really?
They order KFC in Japan for their Christmas dinner. And that's why there were KFCs in Japan.
Interesting. I think the last time I had KFC, well, I'm trying to think, had to be before COVID.
Yeah.
Before COVID. And so it had to be listen to me, 2020,
2019.
2019, yeah. And it was very interesting. When was the last time you had KFC?
I think I was living in Chattanooga.
Mm.
I was living in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I left there in 2017.
Mm. Look at that.
Yeah, Katie, I mean, if you could just, I could list a whole list of what Katie has manifested. She's been a client, she learned how to do it, and she keeps doing it. The house she lives in, the neighborhood she lives in, where she goes, retiring. My God, it just keeps going on and on and on. Katie, thank you. Share this, share it. It's on both of our YouTubes, and I've got it streaming live on my Facebook.
Absolutely. So there's so many people who don't believe in manifesting. Is it because they're limited in their beliefs, or is it because too many negativity is happening in their life, or they're negative?
I'll tell you what I've seen. Too many people believe that they are a victim, which is what the world teaches us. You're a victim. Somebody should make up for it. This randomly happened to you. You're so sad. I'm so sorry for you. When people go through things, Sifu, you will never hear me say, I am sorry that you were going through this, because I know this is part of your curriculum. And I know that you're brave to go through it. And so we are taught from the time we are very young kids, I cannot believe this happened to you. I can't believe you're a victim. I can't. Well, guess what? Victims don't have choices. Victims just have things hit them and knock them down. And when I'm working with clients and they're telling me about how much of a victim they are, they don't even know they're calling themselves that. But this happened to me, and then this happened to me, and then this happened to me. You know what I'll tell them? So, sweetheart, you are simply where the waves are breaking in the ocean. Move. Either get out of the water or dive in and float over the waves. It's your mind. That's the problem. It's how you're thinking about it. So people can't even think about what they want in life when they believe that they are a victim and all this crap just happens to them. What I teach people, and it really breaks up their paradigm and it kind of pulls the rug out from underneath them, is I don't care what you went through, you agreed to it and manifested it. And until you can own that, until you can see that, you cannot change it. You will keep manifesting the same pattern over and over and over again. So I think for me, it goes deeper than negative thinking. It goes to, this is random. I can't believe this happened to me. I'm a victim. I'm pitiful. I can't have what I want. They get to have what they don't. I'm jealous because I see them experiencing it. And the way that I looked at it and was taught by source was, well, if they can have it, you can have it. Because they manifested it, you can manifest it. And so I manifest. I'd rather do that than play the victim card.
Yeah.
And
There's
immediately.
so many people playing that card.
So can you see what I'm saying? You can't really think about what you want when you think you're a victim of life. life just is horrible for you. Well, how can you even think about choosing? You have no choices. You have given your power away to things that have happened and stories. And it's something funny that I came to me in a session. A lot of things come to me in sessions when I'm working with clients. And I heard one day, do you know what history is? It is his or her story.
That's right.
So what are our stories? And according to the laws of attraction, we are supposed to look at what we do not like that we are experiencing to know what we do want and think on those things.
Hmm.
And if you really break it down simply, this guy that I dated Saturday night was saying, I just would think about what I wanted and then I would decide that I was getting it. Hi, Lena. Thank you.
Yeah, just a little. I like that.
Un
Just a
poquito.
little.
It's a
Lena's
big
awesome.
subject. Do what?
I said, Lena's awesome.
I like her sense of humor. She's a little bit of a smartass, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's what you perceive, and perception is what you make of it. I think that a lot of people don't believe. They don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in their possibility. They don't believe in others. And therefore, that's why their life is the way their life is. But I believe, this is why I say what I say. Getting better every day, exceptional and getting better every day. And it's become such a common thing for me to say. I mean, I say it every day. It's very interesting. I had a young girl, because I teach children also, right? And she's 5 years old. And she walks in, and it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. She walks in really loud. Good morning. And I'm like, good. So I don't put her down. I say, good morning. And then her mom says, it's afternoon. So then she comes over. She'll go, how are you, Sifu? I'm like, I'm exceptional, getting better every day. So she goes, good, me too. I said, great. So she must have forgotten. She asked me that like a minute before. And then she goes, Sifu, how are you today? I said, exceptional and getting better, even from the minute ago that you asked me. And then her mom starts to laugh. And so it's how we perceive things, right? And for this young girl to come in so vibrant and just be wanting to share and say hi. And even though she said good morning, I didn't want to knock her and just fix her, right? I'm not the one that needs to fix her. Um, because you know what? Her, her energy was so beautiful. I just wanted to go with it. And so we have to realize that children are incredible dreamers, and they can dream anything. And they believe that they're going to be a firefighter, an astronaut, president, a model, whatever it is. But as adults, we crush those dreams. And so, what are we doing? We're not allowing them to manifest. And I say, encourage dreams. Encourage and let them know, hey, you know what? Keep dreaming that. Because you dream it, it may come true. But if you stagnate it, you leave that alone and it won't come back.
Mm. One of the things that I taught my kids, Sifu, was how they ask for things, the energy of it, because I was really paying attention to the energy of when we approach things a certain way. It's just like in conversation. There's a book that I haven't published, and I talk about in the second chapter approaching somebody in a conversation from a closed-fisted approach where they're going to get defensive. You pointing, I can't believe you did this, close-fisted. The person gets defensive, or you approach them from, I love Brene Brown because she says, my story is that you hurt me from this, but she's owning it's my story. So that's the open-handed. I was teaching my kids at a very young age when they would come to me and they were desperate and they would say, I would go, you want to try that again? Because the way that you're asking me, you're not going to receive it. Go into your room or go think about it and come back and approach me in a different energy, and let's see what happens. And every single time that they shifted that mindset to what they wanted, I gave it to them. But when we're taught to be negative, when the news is only negative, when we're compared all the time, when the models on the magazines are touched up, they're not even real, they're touched up, and we're trying to go by that standard. And we're taught this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. Well, hell, I remember it was so funny one time because I was paying attention to, God, this was Laws of Attraction, and this is probably 30 years ago. And I was really into that. And they were talking about diets and restaurants and losing weight. And Abraham said, we don't even know how you guys are even walking into restaurants thinking about what you want, because everybody is stressed about food. Eggs are good. Eggs are bad. Eggs are good again. Eggs are bad again. Let me tell you something. It's in the mind.
Mm-hmm.
So do you mind if I share a story about Dr. Hugh Lynn and Joe Vitale? You know, the very famous people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hugh Lynn, and I tell people this and they don't understand until I tell them the story. I'll say, well, if you believe onion rings are bad for you, then they are. If you believe onion rings are good for you, then they are. And it really is that way. But we have been taught rigidity, judgment, condemnation, negative. That's bad for you. Well, guess what? It will be bad for you. So what happened is Joe Vitale wanted to work with Dr. Hugh Lynn, and he did not come up with Ho'oponopono. And so what he did was he used it as a Hawaiian term. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. He's a psychiatrist in the worst prison that there is, where most people don't know that if an inmate has a P behind their name, they're criminally insane, like Charles Manson. They're not getting out. I don't care how many hearings that they have when that comes up. They're not getting out. They're insane. So he knew that he was not helping anybody. He was meeting with all these. I mean, we're talking about the worst of the worst, people that mutilate, people that murder. Instead of having the inmates come in to see him, he took their files and he would practice the Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry that there's something in you that I see that is wrong. Did you know every single one of the inmates got healed and the prison shut down? And he wasn't even meeting with the inmates, but he was using Ho'opono. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And he was doing it not only for the inmates, but all of the family members of the ones they had hurt. The prison shut down and has never opened again. All the inmates got healed. Mindset, speaking something over someone. You think about that manifestation. So Joe Vitale goes, he's from the movie The Secret. He goes over to Hawaii and they're on mopeds and they're driving around Hawaii, and Joe starts getting hungry. And then Dr. Lynn pulls over and says, hey, are you hungry? He said, yes, I was just thinking that. And he said, good, we're going to take you to a restaurant. And it's just up the road. And it's this little thatched roof hut outside at the ocean in Hawaii. And Joe's thinking, I have to order a salad with grilled chicken and the dressing on the side. I know he's a very spiritual guy. He's going to eat right. So they go into the restaurant and the server comes over and Joe says, go ahead and order. He says, no, you go first. So Joe orders water, salad, grilled chicken, dressing on the side. And then Dr. Lynn orders. And you know what he orders? Actually, what I got for dinner last night, a hamburger plate, half and half. Half and half in the South is, and I didn't know this was true in Hawaii too, half onion rings, half French fries. And so Annie ordered a Coke. So what happened is that Joe said, wait. Why did you order a hamburger? You're so spiritual. You're so minded. You're so about what's proper. And he said, well, if I believe onion rings are bad for me, they're bad for me. If I believe they're good for me, they're good for me. And Joe said, wait, to the server. He said, I want a hamburger plate, half and half with Coke. Manifest what you think matters. What you believe matters. And so I eat anything I want and I'm healthy. But I believe that what I want is what I can have. You see how that fits in with manifestation? Instead of, people will say to me, you mean you? And I go, I don't have food judgments. If I do, I'm going to have a problem with food. It's funny.
I'm like you. I don't have a problem with food. I can eat literally anything. I am fit. Well, I work out every day, but I understood the level of food where I use food as medicine. I use food not as an emotional eater. I rather deal with my emotions than eat them away.
Wow.
And so many people, they're out of shape. They're this, that, because they claim to be an emotional eater. No, you just want to eat that food. That's what the reality is. If you're an emotional eater, you should first deal with your emotions. And so many people forget that part. So we have to manifest every day. What is it that I want today to be? Who do I want in my life? Where do I want to be? How do I show up? We are matching, even though the colors are similar, they're different. And I didn't take this shirt out of my closet and you didn't take that dress out of yours and say, I'm wondering what the other is wearing.
No.
But it's pretty interesting that we both kind of manifested a good feeling. Because when I saw this shirt, I have not worn this shirt in quite some time myself.
Yeah.
And you haven't worn that dress sometime yourself.
Years.
But when I saw it, I was like, this is the one for today. I have to wear this today. Because I looked at another one, I was like, I'm like, nope. Here we go.
Yeah,
this
that
is
was me.
And I know because you told me that. But it's very interesting when we're in alignment. We're in alignment, and you said this earlier, with what it is that we need in our lives. When we're listening, when we allow what we really need to occur. Because we all have a want and we have a need. Right? Maybe I want that burger. And if I go somewhere and I decide I'm going to have a burger, I'm going to eat a burger.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a burger every single day.
No.
And I don't necessarily have to have French fries with my burger. I may have a salad with my burger, right? So I don't drink soda, but if I said I'm going to drink soda, I can drink soda. Right? So the choices that I make every day allow me the freedom to make choices at any given time. Because when I'm making all the healthy choices, it gives me the bandwidth to be able to make every so often maybe a bad one. So, how do we manifest health? How do we manifest love? How do we manifest wealth? And you're doing it because you went on a great date with a great guy. You're doing all these incredible trips. You even talked about the home you're living in, you manifested. Tell us about that.
I did not even have the money for this home. And I had moved around for many years and I felt insecure. I didn't have a base. I didn't have a foundation or a nest. Women are actually typically nesters, and we need the nest to feel safe in. So I realized that I was in constant upheaval of how much is the rent going to go up next year? I've only got 9 months left on the lease. I only got 3 months left on the lease. I was stressed out constantly. And the last one, the guy sold the condo out from underneath me, and that was a hassle. And while I was in Morocco, they did a home inspection and they unplugged my refrigerator and freezer. And I came home to all of my food spoiled. So I was like, I'm tired of other people being in control of where I live, if I can live there next year, worrying about it, stressing about it. How much is rent going to go up? And am I going to have to move? Am I not? Can I stay? What's it going to cost me? Limited. And so I decided when the condo got sold out from underneath me, I knew that the woman was trying to push me out. She bought the condo, but she had to honor my lease for the next 5 months. And I told a client of mine, I said, she's going to come in and offer me a solution because she wants me out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm going to tell her? And she said, what? I said, I'm going to tell her, you pay for my moving expenses and you give me my deposit back immediately. I'll be out of here in a week. And that's exactly what happened. So, Sifu, I know how this works. And the more uncomfortable we are, the more motivated we are to do something different. So instead of choosing a condo that would have been pleasant and soothing and bathing and warm and easy, I chose a condo that was brand new that I knew would probably have issues and was against a highway that would drive me nuts to motivate me to move because cars were passing by all day long and it drove me nuts. But that was my motivator. I'm like, you got to get real. You got to get serious. So I moved intentionally into a condo. There were all kinds of issues because it was brand new. And I'm seeing the traffic and my dog is barking because people are walking past. And I didn't really feel safe because they're only 20 feet from my door. Right. And so I went, okay, it's time. So I actually placed my order like I usually do. I compile information and go, why do I want this? What is my why? And once I really know, I will place my order. And when I placed my order with the universe, I will always say, thank you so much, but if you need me, let me know. Within 2 days, this book came up. Don't publish the other book, publish this one. And then I met this other lady, and this other lady helped me make hundreds of thousands of dollars and have contracts. So by the time I went to go buy this house as a self-employed female, where you write off almost everything, I had the money sitting in my account. I didn't pay cash for this house, but I manifest paying the house payment, what is left of it. I was in here within 6 months. And so it's amazing how if we get miserable enough then we will want change so bad that we have to do it. And I intentionally moved into that space. So one of the great things was that when I met with the real estate agent, I said, I'm going to make this very simple for you. If there's a lot of cars passing by, we're not walking in the house. Don't even give me a house to look at that has cars passing by. I can't do it. I also want a porch. I also want a garage, 2 car. I also want a fireplace. And I want a gourmet kitchen, and that is exactly what I got in this house. So it's sometimes it's realizing the depth of how things are affecting you, which is why I went into that. The discomfort of being displaced, not knowing, constantly thinking, okay, I have 12 months, I can breathe for, oh no, I only have 9 months. Oh God, now I only have 6 months. Oh no, now I only have 3 months. Oh God, now I only have weeks. What's going to happen? Instead of letting other people decide my destiny and pretending I'm a victim, why don't you just take charge and place your order? So one of the things that I manifested, you were talking about the trips, was I was in Washington. I'm in the Library of Congress. I'm in an international best-selling book. I'm in Manhattan. You saw me and you saw the Jumbotron with the book, and I get to stand in front of it and get my picture made. And when we were in Washington, I saw the cherry blossom trees, and I just thought, I want to go to Japan and see the cherry blossom trees. That's all I thought. In September, after that happened, I think it was in March or May of last year. In September, somebody came to me and they said, I have a private invitation only trip to go to Japan, and it's when the cherry blossom trees are blooming. And I went, yes. I didn't even know if I was going to pay for it, but I paid for it and I went. Do you understand what I'm saying? We are the way we think. And I'm pointing specifically to the left brain, because the left brain is very limited and the right brain is creative and constantly thinking about what we want. If we're stuck in the left brain, we're never going to see the possibility. The right brain, we do. So when I'm stuck here, I will look at, how is this affecting me? How much of a problem is this? How much does this hurt me by living this way? I don't freaking have to live this way.
No, you don't. Nobody does. But so many people choose, yet they blame others.
Yeah,
Aren't we in control of our own lives?
absolutely.
But we give that control away. Oof.
Yes.
I love what you said earlier about a young lady buying her own, paying her bills, not knowing where it was coming from, but you got the money and you manifested all this. And we have to believe in us 1,000%. One of the things that I even said to my own son, listen, I was there when you were born. For some strange reason, I was asked to help with delivery. And I'm in the hospital. There were somebody short, and they asked me to push down on her belly.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, so I will. That didn't mean that I was going to be liked for pushing on her belly, because she was not happy about that. But and so what I said to my son is, even though your mom was there, the doctors were there, I was there, you were born alone. Doesn't matter how many people were in the room, you were born alone. You came through the birthing canal alone. And then you met us. But that experience was yours alone. And the same thing is going to happen when we die.
Yes.
We're going to be alone. We can have people holding our hand, but we're going to die alone. And would I rather die with people around me? Of course. People that love me? Absolutely. And so when we think about our lives, we have to think about we're not in control of when we die unless we take an action against it. And that's not the way to go. But if we're going to allow what's going to happen, we're not in control of the day, the hour, the minute. We're only in control. I think it was that book Dash. It was, I think it was written by, I forget what. It's the point when you're born and the point when you die. We're only in control of that line of what happens
In between.
there in between. So why are we giving that away? I don't give it away. And it's very interesting because in all my previous relationships, I was always fighting with people, not in a negative way, but trying to claim my own. And they couldn't understand. And I'm in a relationship now with my fiance that she knows whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to do. And she'll just go like, is that what you're doing? Okay. So we have an incredible relationship where I don't stagnate her and she doesn't stagnate me. And she'll make comments and I'll do the same. Is that what you want to do? And if it is, then I'm going to support you in whatever it is, right? She's the kind of person that never wants to be in the forefront, ever. I will go to events. I'm going to an event, not this Friday, but following Friday, the 29th. And then I'm going to another event and another event and going here and going there. And I always say, do you want to come?
Yeah.
He's like, nope. I'm like, okay. I said, don't. I said, I will always ask because I would love for you to be there. But I respect the fact that it's not your cup of tea. I also respect her for not hounding me. Why are you going? You leave me alone, blah, 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 all that nonsense. Why are you spending money on that? And then she doesn't do any of that. She lets me live the life I'm living. And we share our life together. And I think that's the beauty of our relationship because we manifested each other without
Yeah.
realizing it,
Yes.
right? Because we are like this, but we allow each other to have our own space. And I think that's the beauty in knowing who you are and accepting who the other person is that you're involved with, if you're in a relationship. And if you're not in a relationship, good. Maybe you're not ready for one. Maybe the right person is not there. But some people try to force a relationship and it's the wrong one. And then we have turmoil. And then we have headaches. And then we don't wake up so happy. Or we wake up on the wrong side of the bed. I say, kick him out of the bed or kick her out of the bed. And then that way you have the bed to yourself until you find your own bed that you're happy with someone. So I say we manifest every day, but we have to be careful on the choices we do make and how we manifest. And we have to be clear. And I like what you talked about earlier about being in alignment. Because that is so dead on. We all have a why and we have a purpose. And if you don't know what either one of those are for you, anybody listening to my voice, if you don't know what your purpose is or your why, look back at and you talked about it earlier, look back at your history. It will reveal itself to you. I know people in their 60s, even 70s, and they're like, I have no purpose. I'm like, wait a minute. You've lived this life so far.
Yes.
Even in your 50s, 40s, even 30s, you've lived this far and you don't know what your purpose is. You mean you're just like a drone or like a robot? You're just doing the things and you make choices every day. Choose to manifest the beauty in your life, the love in your life, the wealth in your life. What's one thing that you, Dr. Tammy, wish you would have manifested earlier, but were not ready for?
I will tell you something that you were talking about, the coupling, and sometimes it's unequally yoked. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same mindset. So one of the things that I wish that I had known earlier, but I'm okay now because I do know, is that your manifestation is not dependent on whether or not they want it or believe it. So if there's not a separation of you thinking, well, he or she has to change for me to have it, that is bullshit.
What?
And that's where we get too toggled and tied in with, and you need to change, and I'm blaming you, and I could have this if it wasn't for you. No. So let me tell you a really cool story. It's something that I heard many, many, many years ago with Abraham Hicks. This man was called on. You know, Abraham just calls on people randomly, but it relates to everyone. And he calls on this man and he said, look, I'm here. I don't even know exactly what you do or what you teach, but I'm a believer because of my wife. And he tells the story and he said, I just want to share with you that she stuck to it no matter what I told her. And she got it. So they were getting married. He's wealthy. And he said, she wanted this specific country club. I couldn't get it. They were telling me no. They were telling me it was booked. I even tried to bribe. I even tried to give them more money. No, it's booked on the day that you want. I'm sorry, but somebody else booked it before you. She goes home to her and tells her, can't have the country club. I'm sorry, that day is booked. She said, I don't care what you say. I'm getting married on that day in that country club. About 2 weeks later, they call and say, guess what? That day just opened up. The couple decided not to get married here on the day and the time she wanted. So then she's saying, I am going to have a famous person at my wedding. So he's looking around as this wealthy man trying to left brain think it. He hires Michael Bublé. Well, yeah, that's a famous person. Something happened at the last minute and Michael Bublé could not come. So he goes to her with the bad news. I'm so sorry to tell you this, but Michael cannot make it. And it's just a week before. I can't book anybody. I can't pay enough money to get a famous person. I don't care what you say. I'm having a famous person at my wedding. So on the day of the wedding, during the reception, guess who walks in to her wedding reception and bombs it? Not only Oprah Winfrey, but Clint Eastwood too.
Wow.
So our problem is that we get so enmeshed in thinking you have to change for me to get what I want is one of the biggest problems that I teach my clients today. I don't care how long you've been married. I don't care how tight. I don't care what he thinks. I don't care what he believes because I predominantly work with females. I don't care. What I care about is what you want and if you're going to order what you want. And as long as you are pointing fingers and blaming somebody else, you're a victim and you do not have choices. So that is what I personally wished. I know for me, Sifu, I've been through a lot of relationships. That was my mission in life. That was my curriculum. That's what I came here to experience. And once I graduate them, I'm on to the next. Now I'm attracting totally different men that I ever have before. I'm like, oh, thank God, the hard lessons, the pain, the suffering. I don't have to learn this in a painful way anymore.
Right.
I just get to attract what I want. So it's much more simple.
Mm. That is, we don't have to be complicated, do we?
We're the ones that complicate it. They're not the problem, we are. Taylor Swift even talked about a song about this. It's not you, it's me. Well, yeah, it's you. If you don't have what you want, you're the reason. I don't care if you're in a relationship or not. I have proven this. I have proven this with clients. I live it. I breathe it. In some ways, we have to separate what you were talking about, that wisdom about your son being born by himself. He's going through the birth canal by himself, even though he's attached to the wife. That individuality and moving into what do I want? Now, that means sometimes that we outgrow spouses. And then we realize, it's kind of like what my son said about his father and me. He told me one day that he was cutting up with Carrie, and he said, on what planet would our two parents ever be together? Well, when I was 17. So it doesn't really matter. And thinking about the possibility of losing someone because you're changing, you're evolving, you're growing, I would say you're going to be in pain if you don't grow. So why not manifest what you want?
Absolutely.
And if it's in alignment with them, great. If it's not, maybe they're not the right fit. So how your fiance is with you is beautiful because there's no need to control. There's no need for either one to change. It's what I call unconditional love, where you be you, I'm me. And what I've learned in dating recently is that men sometimes don't know what they can and cannot do. I think the Me Too movement really screwed a bunch of people up. It wasn't helpful. It screwed a bunch of people up. And men don't even know if they can compliment me on my legs or whatever. And when they do it, they're like scared. So I just say, you be you. Be you. I need to know you. I don't care what you do. I'm not tied to it. But I am watching and going, is this a fit or not? It's very simple, but I don't need them to change.
It's I love you now. Change the way I want to love you. That doesn't really work for long term, right?
No.
Because what winds up happening, and I know we're going to wrap it up. When you keep looking for love, and they say you look for love in the wrong places, because you're looking outward, you're not looking inward. And for me to be in love with my fiance, I have to love me first. I cannot love her if it's not true love that I feel for me.
Yes.
So that to me is manifesting my love for her.
I love
And
it.
leave it there.
I love it. This is a good way to close. Do you want to tell them what we're doing next time?
Yeah, I even wrote it down because it's going to be such a great topic. It's going to be tearing your walls down. We're going to leave it there, and we're going to get deep into it. Tearing your walls down. What happens when you tear your walls down in your home? you change the dynamics. So, being that I love construction and building and recreating, knocking things down, that's going to be a hot topic. Tearing your walls down. This is going to be on your emotional being, not necessarily in a house, because we're not a construction show.
And I have been going through this, and I just really went through it last week in Vegas. I went through it. And so it's fresh on my mind. And I think us being our authentic selves and really letting people know us. And if you want to call it vulnerability, strip down, strip. It's time for people to see you.
Oh,
yeah.
That's it. When you look in the mirror, sometimes you should have no clothes on. Be honest with yourself.
Well, sometimes I look in the mirror and I go, wait a minute. When did that happen? I didn't give you permission to change that way. Well, I'm 66, you know, it's not the same.
Like I said, young lady, always a pleasure. Do us a favor, everybody. Somebody had to listen to today's message because maybe they don't know how to manifest. And listening to it, there's so many little nuggets here and there that it'll guide you. So share this with somebody who needs to listen to today's message. Thank you, everybody. I cannot wait for our next episode.
Yes.
God bless you, everybody.
I love you, Sifu. And I love all of you who are commenting and participating. We love it.
Yep. See you next time.